Hi everyone, welcome to What Would Bigfan Do? I'm your host Bigfan. So we're gonna do things a little differently this time. I got some feedback after the last leap play that even though the first part was exciting, especially with the Vulture and Zergling Micro, the rest was kind of bad, and I do tend to agree. So what I'm planning to do is just for the next episode or two, so this episode and potentially the next one, and still haven't decided yet. I'm just gonna show a couple of old replays just to get a couple points across, and then I'm gonna be showing you some of the newer replays, so things played in the last year or two, because that's when I had my biggest skill increase, and I think frankly that's the ones you guys will enjoy the most. So to start things off, I'm gonna be looking at, for today, I'm gonna be looking at a rep from about 2013 on ICCup. So I ended up playing this opponent a couple of times, and that's something that happened a lot back at the time. Just the idea that when you find someone that you have a good connection with, that you seem to be enjoying with, you just get a couple of gains, almost like a series, so to speak. So my opponent, this is Fighting Spirit, and a couple of things to do. I'll show you guys the map first, although it should be common. The corners are the main bases. The third one here, and there's the fourth one. Then you have the expansions just down the ramp, and then you finally have the third bases, which is essentially almost the 12, 3, 6, and 9. And then the last one is the middle base. Typically it's pretty hard to take these bases because it's hard to defend. You can see there's a lot of ground space that you have to defend. Now focusing on the game itself, and I'll be fast tracking through some of these games because there's a couple I want to show you just so that we don't take up too much time. Now I'm spawning as the Red Terran in the bottom right, Golden Phoenix. My opponent is the Orange Zerg in the top right. It's okay for 1F. So let's speed up through a bit just to see. So he's going for pool first with gas. I'm going for just the first barracks, nothing too crazy right now, and a CC while he's expanding. So this is not Zergling tight, this is not Zergling tight. I don't believe this is either. I'm also not 100% sure though. It looks like it's tight, but looks can be deceiving. So there's some more bunker in here. He has quite a bit of Zerglings. Oh, looks like he's moving in. So I mean, this was pretty bad. I've lost most of my Marines in that attack. He's targeting my academy. This is definitely a great call, especially that a single fire bat with a medic can kill a decent amount of Zerglings with good micro. And I've obviously lost control of my main. Let's see what he's doing. So he's getting a gas, has a bit of drones. He has a spire as well. So I guess it's a two-hatch Muta. On the other hand, do I even have an eBay? No, I don't have an eBay. I don't have any units except for these 3 Marines and just workers. So honestly, this is essentially a GG at this point, unless I get an eBay up. But second bunker is not bad. At least this can help with some of the defending some of the muteless harass. But I mean, 3 Marines is not gonna kill 8 mutas that quickly. So this is essentially GG at this point. So that's the first game. Let's take a look at the next game. Same map again. It was we basically just remade the same game, and we just played over and over until either I stopped asking for games or he just decided he didn't want any more. So the cross spawns, which is pretty great. Pool first, but doesn't look like there's any gas. Looks like he has an expansion out. He still hasn't scouted me because it looks like he's going to other directions. I do block my ramp again with some 2 SCVs, and this is something I used to do at the time because I started finding out that it's the best way to defend against any early pools. Eventually, I don't really do this anymore nowadays, but it just helped quite a bit at the time. So 2 racks, so you guys can see I already changed my strategy just a bit from last time. I had another racks to deal with any early pools, although I kind of mannered my comp set, so I kind of blocked it there. My opponent, okay, so he's getting a 3rd hatch. He's getting his lure, which is great for him. His draw count is pretty healthy there. Seems to be drawing up. Could be making, 6 is still a low number, but I mean, he could be making more probably. Yeah, he's going to be making more. Let's take a look and see. Speeding up just a bit. So I'm getting some turrets, and they should be on time, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, you can see the spire is here, and I mean, I'm going to pause it for just a second. If you guys take a look and see, oops, you guys can see that I obviously scanned his main, but I never scanned, oh, I guess I scanned it, but I'm pretty sure I probably did not find the spire. But I could be wrong in this case though. At that time, I used to always get an eBay right away, get a spire, get some turrets up as well. So I'm going for my first move out. You know, about 8 marines, not too bad. You definitely want to have a fire bat though, at least one. I believe 2 fire bats, 10 marines, about 3 medics is pretty decent. He's getting his third, nothing too crazy yet. So this is a pretty decent spread. If he starts to attack here, both of these, well, both of these should technically help out here. You know, you want some good coverage. Okay, so there's the one turret. It should be a second or a third. It doesn't look like it. So this is pretty bad because this is all exposed. If you guys take a look and see what's gonna happen, this is what's gonna essentially happen if you don't defend against mirrors well enough with turrets. He's gonna swoop in, kill a couple of mirrors, swoop out of the darkness, and I have to wait to scan or to target because I can't see him, but he's going to be able to come in, get a couple of hits, you know, fly out. I'm going to speed up a bit. So you can see this is like a never-ending nightmare. That's why you always want to try and get some tears to overlap. And I mean, in this point in time, I've lost pretty much my whole army. The only thing I have left is the bunker. I can't repair in time as well. So I do defend, but let's face it, you know, he has more mirrors than I even have marines at this point. So the game is essentially over at this point. So that's game number 2. Let's take a game number 3. That's the next game, and let's see if either of us vary up our game or do anything different. So third game, so close spawns. I mean, this could be good or bad. Depends if he does an early pull or not. Okay. So going for the pull again, no gas though. Probably an expansion. Yeah, an expansion. But he does scout me right away, and this is pretty bad because I haven't scouted him just yet. Now I do, but you guys can see why this is the problem. So as you guys will see, just like the last game, I did go for 2 racks, but close spawns, the 9 pool, you know, the racks could have been earlier as well. Now my economy is suffering pretty badly. I barely even have workers as well. 6 SCVs, that's all I have. I haven't even blocked it, and he's still rallying units over and over. I mean, so even though I do defend it, you know, valiant effort, it's a GG as well. 3 games, I've lost all 3 of them in pretty, other than the second game, the first and the third one have been in pretty bad fashion, I would say. So let's take a look and see. There should be, I believe, 1 more game. Yep, there's 1 more game. This is the last one. So let's take a look and see how things changed here. So once again, close positions, same as game 3. Let's take a look and see what either of us do. A little conversation. So I was also only a D player, but he's obviously C as a Terran, which means that he can macro pretty well. So first rack, let's see if I make a second one. I probably should. You can see I'm starting to float money as well. So here's my second one. Not the best block, still a lot of empty spaces, but at least it's there. It looks like I've blocked his depot and my worker's still alive. This is definitely a win-win. You can see he's throwing a lot of money. Skip a bit. So, a depot, making a first move out. And the good thing, so now I mean this overlord here can be pretty vital for the Zerg. So if you have some Marines here, and here, you can kill it. That can supply block them. But this is something else I want to show you guys. So if you take a look and see, so I don't really see him around. If you take a look from his vision, he saw the Marines moving out, but he doesn't know where the Marines are either. So you can see he's searching for them. He doesn't know anything. Next thing he knows, he sees the Marines here. So we both play pretty decent macro, or micro. I do defend the follow-up. So an eBay coming up, calm set to know what he's doing. ICC, okay, pretty decent overall. So I'm still staying on the offensive. And I've realized probably in the last couple of games that, you know, late game he's always a superior player. So it's best to strike him early on. I believe that was my game plan here. Although the targeting here was a bad idea, I could have definitely killed the Zerglings and stopped this from mining, but well, mistakes happen. So macros wise is still pretty good. Against the turrets, maybe a little excessive, but I mean he had pretty decent Mura micro the last game. And I'm still putting the pressure up. He's obviously hiding some Zerglings back here. Does he have... Okay, so the Muras are out, but I mean one drone. He barely even had Sunken's not even done. So I mean, pretty decent defense on his part. But at this point in time, I definitely have the advantage macro-wise. You can see, like, I might have a ton of workers there. Once I transfer some, I have the terror trains. I should have probably one more, probably at least somewhere here. I have the bunker. I have a depot to try and prevent run-by, so they can still go through here, but I mean, it's still not the same as them being able to run across the whole thing. I'm still on 2 racks, so I could definitely add a couple more. I can probably get a factory as well. I'm not sure, I don't think I got stim yet. Or range, not that I saw at least. So let's speed up and see what my opponent does. Okay, so he's obviously denied me making some more racks, which is not a bad plan. But this is what essentially ended up happening. He's focused so much on my base, I didn't realize that I just walked over some units into his base. You know, he lost a lot of his economy. Is he gonna lose the hatchery? So he actually is doing a good job. It looks like he's probably gonna defend this. Yeah, so he defends the hatchery, but think about how much drones he ended up losing. Think about what his economy is like. On the other hand, it's not too bad. It's not too bad either. I am floating quite a bit though. Oops. So technically speaking, if I just muster a large amount of units, I can probably go out and kill him. Although, doesn't look like he's gonna let me do so. Okay, so I would say at this point, guys, if you ever get to this point where you're floating this much on 2 bases and you're getting supply block, make a couple of depots at once, make 3, 4 of them, queue up units. This is what you want to do. Eventually you'll start doing it a little better, basically. It's macro better with time. And in this case, I realized this game that the best thing to do is keep the aggression on. This is a pretty nice drone drill actually. So he does lose everything because drones versus tin minis is not exactly the best thing for drones, but he's probably gonna lose his expansion as well. And his mirrors are still here. You can kind of see he's been caught once again because he's gotten so focused. So typically in Brood War, attention is a big part of the game. Multitasking battles as well. So, you know, doing one thing to draw the attention from another. So that's why sometimes you will see pros expanding while they are attacking, for example, because that's almost a form of defending the expansion. And his third is gone at this point. Let's speed up a bit. He does have a couple lurkers, but I do have 2 bunkers, and this is something I used to do at the time. As soon as I see any sign of a lurker bust, or even just lurkers in general, I was always worried of that. And this, you know, more tanks, especially on the high grounds, fantastic. Kind of gets him to run away. So his third is gone. He has no expansion. So he just has the 6 muras and the 5 lurkers, or 6 lurkers basically. I have the tank. I am flowing quite a bit though. This was definitely a good idea, and He's going for the bust, but I mean, keep in mind, 2 bunkers against 5 lurkers, it's not exactly the best thing for the lurker, especially when there's also a terror, so even if I run out of scans, I still do have backup. So now you may be wondering why I unloaded my units, and the reason for that is what you guys will find is that you can't stim marines or any units in a bunker. You actually have to unload them in order to stim them. So that's what happened there. I essentially unloaded my units to stim them, but then I got 2 of them got killed right away from the spikes. Was it worth it? I don't know. I personally think it could have been a bit better for me, but I would rather still have 2 stimmed minions over 2 non-stimmed ones, but I'm not sure if the math works out. I haven't actually personally calculated it. Okay, so I have a wrath being made. So he's still on 1 base trying to get the second one, but honestly at this point the game is over unless I really mess things up. I honestly can't lose, and it looks like I'm getting the wrath as well. I'm not sure if I actually scouted it or I just figure that you know, he's gonna be going for like guardians or something, but at this point in time, yeah, the game is over. Hopefully he has his courage at least. He does need at least 1 of them in case I have any rash, but I mean, he may be just banking on not having any. So expansion's gone. More for the guardians. My wrath is somewhere, I presume. Okay, so you guys can see here, he's obviously A-moving his guardians in, and that's what's going on. The guardians, when you A-move them in, if you're not careful, they will run into turrets, so you have to babysit them. And the rest is just killing units while his base is it's basically gone. So the reason for showing you the replays, a couple things. I'm firmly of the belief that unless the opponent is, let's say, like an A player and you're like a D player, I believe with enough effort and understanding the way they play, you could probably take games off of them. This is what happened. Does this mean I was the better player? I don't think so. I think he was the better player in this game, this series. He obviously was superior in mechanics-wise, build-wise, everything. The one thing that I probably did better was I adapted to his game. I built things earlier, I scattered a bit more. You can see I was extremely aggressive in the last game in comparison to any of the 3 games where I would wait until I had to expand it to make an army and move out. And you know, that can make a big difference, especially with some of the builds that he was doing. I do hope you guys enjoyed the show this time. It was a little on the shorter side, but I will probably be making another video very shortly. So I hope you guys will tune in and look forward to some more interesting reps. Thanks again.